Good morning, students. This is our third lecture of unit heterocyclic chemistry. In my previous lecture, I discussed about the nomenclature of heterocyclic compounds. As I said you, there are many ways by which we can name these compounds, and we started the first system, Hands-Widman system, which is applicable only for monocyclic heterocyclic compounds. And in my previous lecture, just to understand the basics, we did just simple examples in which we had only one heteroatom. Today we will discuss how to use this system when we have more than one heteroatom in the ring. So let us start. So first case is when we have more than one identical heteroatoms. This is the case when two or more heteroatoms of the same type are present in the ring. Means both the heteroatoms like this. Now in this ring you can see we have two oxygen atoms. We have more than one oxygen atom and both are same. So this corresponds to case presence of identical heteroatoms. In such case we take the help of prefix di, tri, tetra, etc. where di is used when we have two same heteroatoms, tri is used when we have three same heteroatoms, and tetra is used when we have four same heteroatoms. Now let us, by using this, let us try to name this compound, and with our previous understanding from our previous lecture. Now see, it has two oxygen atom. First we will use this prefix di plus. Now the oxygen atom is oxygen and the prefix for oxygen is oxa. Now we have to use the stem. The stem for this five membered cyclic ring without nitrogen is olane. Now if we combine this, the name becomes dioxo. Now we have to drop this a because it starts from vowel dioxolane. Now this is incomplete. We also have to specify the position of these atoms, that I will discuss in my next slides, how to number these heteroatoms, but these will be numbered as 1 2 3. So don't forget, just forget about this. I will discuss with you in my next slide. So its name is 1,3-dioxolane. So that is its IUPAC name according to Hands-Widman rule, 1,3-dioxolane. So it is quite simple. Just now we have to use the prefix di. The rest everything is same. We have our methodology was, first we have to find prefix. This tells us about the heteroatom. Then we have to find the stem, and I shared a table with you in my previous lecture how to use that table to find the stem. I will again share with you in my this lecture, that you can see. I will share in my coming slides. So first it was two oxygen, so we use prefix di. Then oxa for oxygen, di plus oxa, olane for this five membered cyclic saturated ring, so olane. So the name becomes 1,3-dioxolane. 1,3 comes when we number the ring, that we will discuss later. I will discuss with you. Now similarly this ring, now this ring you can see it has three same heteroatoms, and the heteroatoms are nitrogen. Now if we have three same heteroatoms, what we will use, we will use the prefix tri. So what we will do, first we will write tri. Now as it is nitrogen, so prefix for nitrogen is aza, plus it is a five membered saturated ring containing nitrogen, so its stem is ol. So the name becomes tri az. We have to drop this a, triazole. Now we have to also number this. If we number, it will be 1 2 3 4, 1 2 4. Numbering I will discuss with you in my next slides. It is 1 2 4 triazole. That is the name for this compound according to Hands-Widman rule. Similarly this can be named as, it again contains a 3 nitrogen, tri plus aza plus, now you can see it is a 6 membered saturated ring with the nitrogen, so the stem for this is ine. So its name becomes 1, if we number it, 1 2 3 4 5, 135. 135 numbering I will discuss, please don't confuse. Just learn how to you use how to give name when we have more than one heteroatom. So 135 try AZ, we have to drop this A triazine, that is its name, 135 triazine. So that was the case when we have more than one heteroatom in the heterocyclic ring. Now as I said, I will share with you, this was the table that I shared with you. So I said you always keep this table with you so that you can use this table. So when you use this table for a number of times, you will start learning the stems. So it is very difficult to remember as it is this table. This can be remembered by applying it. It is similar to English vocabulary, like we learn the words if we keep using them. The words which we don't use frequently, we forget them. So that's why, so whenever you do practice, always keep this table with you so that you can use this table, and after doing 50-60 examples you will start learning these stems. So it is not a difficult thing. Now the second case, what can be the second case? When we have different heteroatoms, we have more than one heteroatom but both are not same. What we do in that case? In that case, when two or more different heteroatoms are present in the same ring, the prefix of the heteroatom, as we know we have to give prefix for the heteroatom, the prefix of the heteroatom are combined in the order of their appearance in the table. This is the table. So when we have more than one heteroatom, like suppose if we have oxygen as well as nitrogen, then we have to combine the prefix for oxygen and nitrogen with oneself, that I will discuss. But first, whose name should be first, whether we use prefix of oxygen first or prefix of nitrogen first, that is given by this table. So from this table, the atom which appears the first, its prefix is used first. So if we have suppose oxygen and nitrogen in the ring, then as oxygen appear first, so its prefix will be used first, oxa, then we will use the prefix of nitrogen as a. So this is the table. It seems confusing but it is quite easy. The first preference, if we analyze this table, the first preference goes to oxygen family. Okay, if we have any atom from oxygen family, it get highest preference. So you can see oxygen has higher preference than sulfur, then selenium, then tellurium, then goes to nitrogen family. Nitrogen family, the second preference is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, then comes the carbon family. So it is quite easy to remember like this. You don't need to see the table always. Then comes the boron family. So that's why you can remember, if you remember the periodic table, you can easily give the preference, first preference to oxygen family, then nitrogen, then carbon, then boron. What does it mean? Suppose one atom we have sulfur, another atom we have phosphorus. Now sulfur belongs to oxygen family, so it will have higher preference than phosphorus. Now let us try to use this with some examples. Suppose we have this compound. Now you can see this compound, it contains two different heteroatoms, sulfur as well as nitrogen. So what we have to do now, first we have to assign the preference. Now we have to use a prefix for sulfur as well as nitrogen according to preference. Now you can see from this table, sulfur comes first than nitrogen, so sulfur will be given the higher preference, so its name will be first. The prefix for sulfur, thia, plus prefix for nitrogen as a. How I have chosen sulfur? From this table of preference. Plus, so the trick to remember, oxygen family has higher preference than nitrogen family, it has higher preference than carbon family, which has higher preference than boron family. Plus now we have to give its stem. It is a 5-membered saturated ring. Now we have to give the name according to the atom which has higher priority. Now sulfur has higher priority, so we have to see the table for non-nitrogen atom, the table for stem. So its stem will be ol, so its name will become. Now also we have to specify the position, but numbering I have not discussed yet with you, so don't worry, I will discuss in my upcoming slide. So it can be 1 2 3. So 1 3, now thaya plus aza, at again it appears from vowel, so we have to drop this a. 1 3 thaya a z, it appears from vowel, so we have to drop this a, thiazole. So its name is 1,3-thiazole. So it is quite easy. So we just now we if we have two different heteroatoms, then we have to name all the, we have to write the prefix of all the heteroatoms, then combine them. And the first heteroatom, the atom heteroatom which appears first, it will get higher, you can say it will be given higher priority than other heteroatoms. So now similarly this, suppose now it has two heteroatoms, oxygen and nitrogen. First we have to write the prefix for oxygen because it has highest priority than nitrogen. So it is oxa plus aza plus, it is a six membered unsaturated ring, so its stem is ine, so its name becomes OXAZINE, oxazine. We also have to specify the position of heteroatoms 1 2 3 4. There are rules for numbering that we will discuss in our next slide. So it is 1 4 oxazine. Still its name is incomplete. Why? Because it has a saturated atom. That is a different case that I will discuss with you in our upcoming slides. Now this I just wanted to convey how to add the prefixes if we have more than two heteroatoms. So its name is 1 4 oxazine, but it is still incomplete. I will complete this when we will discuss this case if we have a saturated carbon. Now similarly this, now it has sulfur and nitrogen. So let us see, sulfur belong to oxygen family, so it will have higher preference than nitrogen. So its name will be sulfur is thia plus aza plus, it is a six member unsaturated ring in, so it is 1 4, numbering I will discuss later, thiazine. 1 4 thiazine is the name for this compound. So it is quite easy to club, just you have to remember the order of preference. So you can either use this table, or as I have given you, oxygen family has highest preference, then nitrogen family, then carbon family, then boron family. Okay, next, how to do numbering. As I was discussing that there are rules to number, give numbers, so we will discuss different cases one by one. The first case is when we have only one heteroatom and we have other substituents to the ring. So in such case, the numbering in the ring, it starts from the heteroatom. So always if we have only one heteroatom, the numbering will start from the heteroatom. So we will give it a position 1, and it proceeds in such a way as to give lowest possible locant to substituent if present. It says if other substituents are present, then we have to start numbering in that direction, which gives a minimum or lowest possible locant. Let us try to understand with this compound. Now it is a heteroaromatic compound with only one heteroatom. Now as I said, if it contains only one heteroatom, then we have to start numbering from nitrogen. What we have done, we have given it a 1, so it is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now here comes the second rule. The numbering proceeds in such a way so as to give the lowest possible locant to the substituent. Now we could also start the numbering like this: 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Now let us see in both the cases the sum of the locants. If we go by these black letters, then this substituents appears at position 2 2 3 4. Another substituents appear at position 5. So 2 plus 5 7. The locant is, sum of locants is 7. Now if we start numbering from this side, 1 2, first substituent appear at position 3 3 plus 4 5, other at 6. 3 plus 6 is equal to 9. So which is minimum? 7 is less than 9. So the numbering that we have done with these black letters, this is correct. This numbering with the green alphabets is wrong. So now its name will be, as I said, some compounds their common name has been accepted. This, as you know, this compound is pyridine. So first we have to write the substituents. So substituents are at present at position 2 and 5. So its name will become 2,5-dimethyl. Why dimethyl? Because we have two methyl groups. 2,5-dimethyl. Its accepted name is pyridine. So that is the name for this compound, 2,5-dimethyl pyridine. The second case is this. Again, as I said, we have to start the numbering from that heteroatom. Now heteroatom is oxygen, so we will start numbering from here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. The other possibility will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Now if we do the numbering with these black alphabets, then this substituent it get a locant position 3. If we do by this green letter that I have done, then its position will be 6. So 3 is less than 6. So this numbering with these black letters is correct, because this substituent is getting lowest possible locant. So what will be its name? 3-methyl. 3-methyl. Now heteroatom is oxa plus what we have to add the stem. It is a 7-membered unsaturated ring with oxygen as heteroatom. So its stem is EPIN. You can check from the table. I may write wrong because sometimes you can do mistakes, so it is better to cross check, but I think it is correct. So its name becomes 3-methyl OX. We have to drop this A, oxapin. That is the name of this compound. So if we have only one heteroatom, then we have to start the numbering from that heteroatom only, and if we have other substituents, we have to proceed in that direction which gives lowest possible locant. So it was simple. Now if we have two or more identical heteroatoms, next case is we have heteroatoms but we have two or more identical heteroatoms. So in this case the ring is numbered in such a way that heteroatoms are assigned the lowest possible set of number locants. So we have to start numbering in such a direction so that these all the heteroatoms, some of their locants should be minimum. Now you can see, suppose this compound, now this compound has two heteroatoms. We can start numbering from here like 1 2 3 4 5. Now the sum of locants is 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. Now let us see the other possibility. Other possibility can be 1 2 3 4 5. This can be another possibility to assign numbers. Now in this case the sum of locants is 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. So which is less? 1 3 is less than 1 4, because we have to assign lowest possible set of number locants. So this numbering is correct. This is correct. This numbering is incorrect. That is how you number if we have more than one heteroatom and all the heteroatoms are identical. So now let us discuss the case when we have two heteroatoms or more heteroatoms, but the heteroatoms are different. The heteroatoms are not same, they are different. In that case the numbering has to start from that heteroatom which has highest preference in that table. That I said, oxygen family has highest preference, then nitrogen family, then here comes carbon family, and then boron family. Now let us see this. Now this compound, it has two heteroatoms, sulfur and nitrogen, and out of these sulfur has higher preference than nitrogen. So numbering will start from this sulfur. Now again there are two possibilities. We can go like this: 1 2 3 4 5. Another possibility can be we can do 1 2 3 4 5. Now we have to follow the again the rule for the same heteroatoms. These two heteroatoms should have lowest possible locant position. Now if we go by this black color, then the sum of locant is 1 and 3, 1 plus 3, which is 4. But if we go by this 1 2 3, it is 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. So the correct numbering is with these black alphabets, black numericals, 1 2 3 4 5. So that is the correct numbering, 1 2 3 4 5. And its name will be, what will be its name? As first, what we have to write? Thaya. First we have to specify their position, 1 comma 3. I can write here 1 comma 3. Now Thaya plus Aza, Thaya plus Aza, it becomes 1 3 THIAZ, Thaya Aza. Now stem, 5 membered ring unsaturated, it is ol plus ol. Now we have to drop this A, thiazole, its name is 1 3 thiazole. Similarly, you can name this compound. Oxygen will get higher preference than nitrogen, so we have to start numbering from oxygen, 1 2 3 4 5. So its name will be same, 1 3. Now instead of thia we have oxa, oxazole, that will be its name, 1 3 oxazole. Now this compound, oxygen, from oxygen and sulfur both belongs to oxygen family, but oxygen come first. So because oxygen sulfur, here you go down the table, so first oxygen then sulfur, so it is at first position and second position. The numbering, now you know, we have to start numbering from oxygen 1 and go in that direction which gives the lowest possible locant to sulfur. So 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 2 oxa thia plus it is 5 membered saturated ring olane. Now we have to drop this A, so it is 1 2 oxathiolane, that is its name, 1 2 oxathiolane. So that's how you name these compounds. Now if we have more than one other remaining heteroatoms, then what? Now here we have only two heteroatoms which were different. Suppose we have more than two heteroatoms, and what we have to do with the remaining heteroatoms? In when we have to number them, the remaining heteroatoms, they are given the lowest number locants. Let us understand this by one example. Suppose we have this case. Now out of sulfur and nitrogen, which has high preference? Sulfur. So the numbering will start from sulfur. So now what we can do? We can start numbering like this: 1 2 3 4 5. We can also start from 1 2 3 4 5. Now this rule says as the remaining heteroatoms, the remaining heteroatoms means the heteroatoms except the heteroatom having highest preference, because we have already given it position 1. The remaining heteroatoms, they are given lowest number locants. Now if we do numbering by this case, it is 1 2 3 4 5. So what it is? The sum of locants is 2 plus 4. 1 plus 2 plus 4 is equal to 7. Now if we do from this side, it is 1 plus, this appears at 3, this appears at 5, it is 9. So you can say this is less, this is more. So this is the correct numbering, and its name will be 1 2 4. First specify the numbers at which heteroatoms are there, then thia. Now we have two nitrogens, so we have to use di, thia di aza plus it is 5 membered unsaturated ring ol. So its name will become 1 2 4 thia diazole, because we have to drop this A, that is its name, 1 2 4 thia diazole. So these are quite simple rules. The only thing is that you have to just do a little bit of practice, nothing else. If you do more and more practice, you will become more familiar with these rules. These are not complex. I once again repeat, these are quite easy. Now as I said, if we have a saturated atom which is represented by indicated hydrogen. Now what is the meaning of this indicated hydrogen? That is the case which I discussed with you in my previous slides. Now when a heterocyclic ring with the maximum number of non-cumulative double bonds, we have already written the tell what are non-cumulative double bonds in our previous lecture. So when a heterocyclic ring with the maximum number of non-cumulative double bonds, it contains a saturated atom. Let us see example. Now this contains a maximum number of cumulative double bonds. Now it contains a saturated atom. Now if it has a saturated center, it can have only maximum two double bonds, two non-cumulative double bonds. So how to name these compounds? So similarly this next you can see it has two non-cumulative double bonds, then there becomes a saturated center. This center 2 is a saturated, it is a CH2. So it also contains a saturated center. Then how to name such type of compounds? We take the help of indicated hydrogens. So it says that the position of saturated hydrogen, first of all, its position is given the lowest possible locant, and it is numerically indicated by an italic capital H. Italic capital H means which is, this is a simple H. Italics means which is written little bit tilted. So capital H before the name of heterocyclic ring system. Let us understand this. What does it states? Now first of all, forget everything. Now it has two heteroatoms, sulfur and nitrogen, and we have to start the numbering from sulfur as it is. So sulfur 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Either you start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In both the case, this saturated atom it gets a locant number 4. So both are correct. Either start from this, as it is a symmetrical structure, either start from this, the thing is same. So first forget about this indicated hydrogen. What will be the name? Its name will be 1 at 4, 1, 4. What is this? 1, 4. It is thia as a it is a 6-membered unsaturated system in thiazine. It is 1,4 thiazine, but he says we have to specify this saturated center by an italic capital H before the name of heterocyclic ring system. This is the name of heterocyclic ring system. So after specifying where this saturated hydrogen is present, it is present at fourth position. So we write 4H, we have to write italics 4H 1,4 thiazine. Some write this hyphen, in some books this hyphen is omitted, so both are okay. You can also write this with the hyphen, or you can also write 4H 1,4 thiazine. This is the name of this compound. Now let us see what about this. Now the numbering can be done, will be started from S. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another possibility is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this second rule is applicable here. The position of saturated center should have the lowest possible locant. Now if we do this, the numbering by this red colored numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then the saturated center will have a position at 6. And nitrogen, in both the cases nitrogen should have 4. The first preference should be given to the second heteroatom. Then we will discuss what are the other possibilities. Now either you start from left side or start from right side. In both the cases nitrogen will get a position number 4. So both are equivalent for it. Now next we have to see the position of this saturated atom. This rule says that if possible it should also have a lowest possible locant position. Now if we start numbering with these red numbers, it gets a locant position 6. If the numbering is done with this black, numbers, then its position is 2. So which is less? 2. So the numbering with these black letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is correct. As I said, the name will be same. This locant position we have to write 2H. Now write the name 1, 4, 1, 4, the same Thaya as a 6-membered unsaturated. Its name is 2H14 thiazine. So its name was 4H14 thiazine. Its name is 2H14 thiazine. This is called indicated hydrogen. This is used to tell the position of saturated atom in the heterocyclic ring when we have maximum number of non-cumulative double bonds. Now sometimes what happens, we also have a saturated center and we have some other functional group also. Then how we have to write? So heterocyclic system in which a carbon atom of the ring is involved in the carbonyl group. So we have a carbonyl group, other functional group. Then the indicated hydrogen, they are normally cited as the same, they are cited as italic H, but now they have to be in parentheses, means we have to use these brackets, and they are not written before the name, they are written after the locant of the additional structure feature. Let us understand this by this. Now you can see this this structure has a carbonyl group, so its name what becomes, it is pyridine. Its pyridine name is accepted, pyridine 2-on. It is pyridine 2-on, but we have saturated center at position 1. So what we write? Pyridine 2 1H on. This is how when we have a carbonyl group we name these compounds. Similarly here this its compound name is pyrazine, and we have on group at 2 position and saturated position at third center. So again numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is pyrazine 2 on, but we have a saturated center at third carbon. So pyrazine 2 3H on. So that's how we name these compounds where we have a saturated carbon atom. So that was all for this nomenclature system. That these are all the rules by which we can name heterocyclic compounds. It is generally used for only monocyclic, which contains only one ring, even, and the ring should contain the number of atoms 3 to 10. So now we discuss all the rules. So I request or I urge all of you to practice these rules more and more with different examples which you can do. So the only way to learn is to do practice. So if you liked, please do subscribe it and also share with your friends. Thank you very much for your attention. Oh, I hope you have liked this lecture.